Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Keymasters. Today, I've got a really fun topic, the current state of compositions. I'm the host, Sven Rajala, and I've got my good friend,
David Hook.
And let's jump into that, David. So what is the idea behind a composite signature, and what algorithms are supported in it?
So composite signatures are basically a hybrid approach to managing signatures. All the current defined voids for the algorithms contain ML-DSA, and then you have a mixture of classical algorithms which are used in conjunction with ML-DSA, such as RSA-PSS, ECDSA, things like that. It's actually quite a nice piece of work because the OID list has been reduced quite substantially over time to basic ones, and they also combine ML-DSA parameters with the equivalent to classical security parameters as well. So there's been a bit of thought that's gone into it.
So that's pretty cool that we've come that far with it. What are the limitations that come with it, though?
So the obvious limitation with composite, which as it turns out in practice isn't quite as bad as it seems, is that you need to be able to implement ML-DSA, and obviously you need to be able to implement the composite construction, which includes ML-DSA. So to deploy a composite certificate, intuitively, at least at first, it looks like you actually have to provide ML-DSA support to whatever devices you're going to use a composite certificate on. The truth actually is slightly more different than that. So to be fully compliant with the RFC, you actually have to have ML-DSA and classical algorithm support because you're expected to validate both sides of the signature. And that's a good thing in the sense that it also provides a way of hedging your bets. You know, if it turns out there's an issue with ML-DSA, you've still got the classical signature to fall back on. But the other reality about it is if you're going to do it incrementally, to actually deploy a composite certificate to a device that's, say, got ECDSA on it already, the only initial software change you need to make is provide the ability for your device to recognize the composite signature, or the composite certificate rather, and then for your device to be able to parse out the elliptic curve key that's part of the composite public key. And at that point, you'd have an initial step where you could actually deploy your composite certificates to devices which only supported elliptic curve, but you'd be able to prep up for having ML-DSA in place. And then you could come through later and incrementally install ML-DSA and composite support to actually round it out properly. And some devices you might just find that you'll decommission because, it turns out that during the course of the migration, you no longer need to use them.
So that's pretty wild because originally I thought with the composite, you'd have the two keys underneath presented as one and you had to use it like that and do the both sides. But
that's certainly the intention of the standard now. But interestingly enough, like when it started, it actually was or and. So you could either do one or the other or both. And I think, engineers being engineers.
We engineered it.
Yeah, people have actually realized after thinking about it that actually there are situations where if you're going to be introducing composite certificates, being able to use or could be very useful because it actually requires a lot less prep in terms of the actual initial deployment of the certificates. And then you can go through and update ML-DSA as well. I mean, one of the things about that too is, if you're in a situation where you've got, say, a certificate that you're using across a range of devices and you want to be able to change your infrastructure so that you're only using one certificate, but you do know there's a bunch of them that you're never going to move to post-quantum because you'll be decommissioning before that. Doing the incremental change actually gives you the space to actually do that because you don't need to add ML-DSA to devices that don't actually ever need to use it. You just need to adjust the way you parse the public key from the certificate and recognize the certificate algorithm, which are things that your device can already do because it's already using certificates.
So, I mean, this becomes a much more versatile tool for part of migration now than what I thought originally it was going to go.
It's turning out to be very, very versatile. And certainly in our experience with Keyfactor and Bouncy Castle, we've got probably more than half a dozen clients that have got proof of concepts going using composite certificates now.
Wow. So I guess the next question is, once I get this composite, what can I actually do with it signing wise, or how do I use it? And
just like you'd use a regular signature algorithm.
But what I would obviously need, I guess, a crypto library that supports it to begin with too. It's not like it's just going to work out of the box.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's why I was talking about the incremental updating before. You actually need to support the new algorithm. But as I said, the interesting twist is how you support the new algorithm.
Yeah, that's the little plot twist that I didn't realize we had now.
You can actually finesse that as you need to, if you need to. But yeah, the standard itself, which is now in working group last call, does actually say you should be doing both. And I'd certainly endorse that. And I think we'll probably see actual final RFC, I guess, first quarter next year.
I mean, that's great work with the guys that have written that. I mean, kudos to those. I'm really
absolutely, and it's taken them quite a few years to get it across the line.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. I think that I've been tracking that at least. And all right. So where can I go to find out more information? Because obviously this is some pretty good stuff here, and I'm going to want to know more.
The IETF data tracker is obviously the place you need to go for the draft at the moment. And if you follow that, I suspect, as I said, early next year, there'll be an actual RFC. So we'll include the link of that, of course, under the video.
Cool. All right, guys.
I won't even try to read it out. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.